We'll just jump. We'll do this one really quick. We'll
Sure.
So this is a story that's been popping up quite a bit because we're all locked in our homes.
Well, yeah, we were joking about it multiple times.
Right.
Yeah, we were.
There's going to be a bunch of babies we talked about on the show, coronials. And there's actually two things: a baby boom and a huge spike in divorce rates.
Yeah.
Because people are trapped with each other now.
Why not both?
But well, exactly.
I hope not.
Some people have argued it'll be no, we won't see a baby boom, we'll see divorce. And it's like, no, I don't think you understand. You can see both.
Yeah.
You know, and then people are going to have kids, and that's kind of a bad thing.
Yeah.
But the Washington Post said we might see a coronavirus baby blip, not a boom. I don't agree. There's a lot of reasons for the baby boom.
Well, boom was over a course of years, not one, like, I mean, I hope we're not
But they
stuck
also
for years.
they also didn't quarantine their entire population, which was much smaller.
Well, that's why it's going to be a crazy blip instead of a boom, you know?
Whoa, dude.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
In 9 months
Yeah,
from
that's what
like
I'm
right
talking
around
about.
now.
Hospitals will be overrun
Yes.
with pregnant women.
Yep, for real.
Man.
And schools.
I hope we're
Yeah.
out
a few
of
years
the
later.
woods.
Yeah, that's the blip. It makes sense.
Oh, I see what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's a boom is like a slow roll
Slow
and
rolling,
expansion,
yeah.
Right.
whereas
the
a blip
baby
is like a
boomers,
massive
it was
spike.
like that whole era of
Yeah.
like, we finally beat the recession. We're building like
We won the
America.
war. Yeah.
You know.
So- But here's why I think it's guaranteed to happen. Some people say, well, we don't actually know people are going to hook up and have babies, right?
yeah.
Sure. Condom shortage looms after coronavirus lockdown shuts world's top producer. Boom.
Well, that seals it.
Baby's coming.
That's it.
Everyone was grabbing the toilet paper, and then they weren't showing this, but they would ride around the aisle and grab all the
Grab all the
condoms
condoms,
too.
too.
Were they really doing that?
No.
No, okay. But this is Kuala Lumpur. A global shortage of condoms is looming. So, all right, I'm kidding. Right now we have condoms, so people are going to get them. So we'll see what happens if in 9 months is a major boom.
We're gonna wake
But there
up
is-
tomorrow and it's like, for some reason, people all across America were running to the store and buying out condoms.
At one moment, 12,000 people went out right around
There's been
10
a run
p.m.
on
Eastern and raided all the condoms.
Oh man.
Yes.
So the Washington Post says, thanks to the coronavirus, Americans have been locked out of their offices and told to work from home. There's no eating out. Well, depends on your definition. Ooh, I'm so funny, right?
Timothy.
No recreational shopping and no hanging with friends. Almost all events are canceled and no one can travel. There's not even live sports on TV. Seriously, man.
So
Yeah.
boring.
Of the many questions this extreme situation raises, one will have to wait several months for an answer. Should we expect a coronavirus baby boom? A surprising amount of research has been done on the subject of post-disaster fertility. The headline hypothesis is fairly straightforward. With other activity curtailed, couples have more opportunity and perhaps more desire for intimacy. 9 months later, the babies show up. This theory was behind...
how it works.
That's
That
it.
is how it
Yes,
works.
yes. The stork comes. This theory was behind a series of articles published by the New York Times in the aftermath of the great New York City blackout of November 1965, when several local hospitals registered an increase in births starting in August 1966. The Times attributed the spike to how the infants' parents kept busy when the lights went out.
Hold on. Thank you.
Seinfeld theme.
Thank you. So I had a question.
Yeah.
How long was the blackout?
Yeah, I don't know.
How long
Not that
are we
long,
going to be
right?
stuck inside?
Couple years.
No, they said blip. It's not a boom.
Years.
I'm worried.
I think we're going to be locked down for a long time, man. I don't think anyone understands. Maryland's lockdown is indefinite. They've given no expiration.
Right.
Yeah, that's frightening.
So the closest comparison these people have is like weather events and the blackout in 1966.
Look it
Those are
up.
very, very short.
Pull up the wiki. I'll keep reading.
Short. Yeah, I'm really curious.
They say sociologist J. Richard Udry wanted to test the assumption for himself and in 1970 published his findings. As it turned out, upon reviewing the citywide data, Udry found no statistically significant increase or decrease in the number of conceptions during the blackout. Yet ever since, each new disaster seems to have brought reports of a surge in births. If lack of alternative entertainment doesn't spur a COVID-19 baby boom, might the widespread calls to come together for the sake of our civilization inspire people to start working on the next generation? I really doubt it. This banding together theory was one of the main explanations in a 2005 study showing an increase in births in the counties surrounding Oklahoma City after the 1995 bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. When a population unites around a common goal, people feel more ownership of the future. We might therefore expect more baby making to result from the nationwide campaign against the coronavirus.
Yep.
I think it's actually we have no purpose. And because we have no purpose, there's no need to reproduce. And I don't think it's necessarily about people being occupied with other things. I think it's like, so I was reading that people die most after retirement. Like, that's true, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Typically, when people retire, they die within a year.
Well,
You know what I think that I think I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But here's my personal hypothesis.
I never heard that.
Yeah, but that's like 55 to 60, right? When people-
especially guys, I guess,
Yeah.
when they retire, they
No
die
more
really
purpose.
soon after retirement.
Think about the advantage in evolution. If someone is no longer producing for the collective, for the tribe, for the family, they're a drag on resources. They're no longer working, they're not producing. Them dying would be a net benefit to the rest of, to the survivability of the family, because now they need less resources. So if you have 10 people and, one buffalo can feed 10 people and one person does no work, everyone is doing extra work to support the person who doesn't. There are some people, they found this in the blue zones, the areas where people live to be over 100. One factor is that they all work well into their, 90s or 100. There was one interview I saw, I don't know if it was an interview, but there was a guy in Japan, and it was this really old guy in his 90s chopping wood. And they were like, "You're 90, why do you still do this?" And he said, "If I don't, who will?"
Yeah.
So one of the big factors in survival was, was that.
Moving.
So I wonder if the reason people don't have babies is for the same reason. We know internally we're not doing anything to better our society. It would be a drain on society to, reproduce in a world where there's no purpose anymore. So now that we have an actual common threat and a goal, and our survivability is under threat, people all of a sudden now start reigniting a desire to have kids, and it might be subconscious. It might just be like all of a sudden they're like, "I'm going to have kids," and it could be because now we are actually being threatened.
Or like what we were talking about maybe a month ago now, is like how this whole thing bringing factories back to America is like bringing Americans back together. So it's like
back to the 1950s.
Well, it doesn't have to be back to the 1950s, but still bringing production back here is simply a thing that can be bringing people together. It's like a lot of people on either side are like, we should make our own medicine. Like China shouldn't have control over our medicine.
Yeah, that's
like
bipartisan.
That's pretty broad, It's like, but a lot of people believe that. So it's like, we should start working towards that. And then the we in that sentence is the key, It's like, so maybe it's already kind of begun and now we're quarantined. So
right. But do you think people are consciously saying like, "I think we should have children for the sake of our country"?
No, it's more of like a comfort thing, I guess. Obviously in this situation, it's not really comfortable, but the thought of having kids isn't as scary, because there is something there for them.
We're building something. We can rely on each other.
Right.
Well,
maybe.
Exactly.
When you start to think that there might not be a future, you start thinking about the future, and you're like, well, if I want to have kids, maybe I should do that now that I have time.
Hey, here's another
more
thing.
People should think about the future.
Well, maybe it's also this. Maybe for a lot of women who are working, they never have the opportunity. So now that people are at home, they're thinking, we don't know how long it's going to take, how long it's going to last. There's a window now where you can't work. So like one of the concerns I read about, because I'm not a woman, so I wouldn't know, is that if women choose to have a family, they take time off work and it holds them back. If now everyone has to take time off work,
you're on the same
no
playing
detriment.
field. Yeah.
Or
So
maybe we got to have a bunch of kids so we can raise the farm in the old school way.
That's
and
right.
Get to work, kids.
Conspiracy theory time.
Oh yeah.
Start plowing the fields. We got to raise the corn up.
That's
Right.
the conspiracy.
We got a conspiracy
The
theory.
governments of the world are seeing the declining birth rate of all of the different countries, and we're like, we got to figure out how to lock everyone in their homes and make them terrified of their own mortality.
And you know what? It's interesting because
I'm kidding, by the way, seriously.
No, yeah. But there's a lot of people are going out and buying food, buying a lot of things, buying stuff.
Yeah.
Spending money and buying
Well,
stuff.
it's true, but the economy.
No, I know.
It's almost like a hard reset, though.
Yeah,
It is.
exactly.
Like all of a sudden now, our farmers and our grocery store workers are our most important jobs. Truckers. It used to be like celebrities.
Yeah, you know when you take I'm gonna pull
doctors too.
Nintendo 64. You take the disc out, it wasn't working. You
Cartridge.
go, you
Yes.
blow it.
Reset.
You
So
blow it.
That wind that you use is COVID-19.
Ooh.
Boom, put it back in.
A cleansing
power.
rain.
If we have a
I'm
hard
just
reset,
kidding, I don't know.
we have a hard reset to our economy, and all of a sudden now we're like truckers, doctors, nurses, police, EMTs, like core jobs that actually make society function are now getting, people are clapping and cheering. You see these videos?
Yeah.
Like a nurse walks outside and everyone in the neighborhood's screaming and clapping, and she's just like, thank you, whatever. And you don't even know if at our hospital they're overwhelmed. Some places they are, some places they aren't. So it's kind of like a back to basics thing.
Yeah.
Where people are going to come out of this being like, what do we need to build? Because celebrity ain't it. You know, we don't need to cheer. I mean, we'll still have them for sure.
Right.
But right now, the celebrities are going insane in their bedrooms.
And everyone's watching.
And making fun of it.
Why are you, like, you're in a mansion. You have, how are you not, you know.
You're literally crying in your mansion, bro. We're not interested in hearing about you right now. Yeah. No, this is actually another interesting point is all of a sudden now, they're not sympathizing with the wealthy people crying in their apartments because they see how bad it is for the doctors and nurses actually catching this, getting sick, or putting themselves at risk.
And still out there working.
Back in the, like, before all this broke out, a celebrity would cry and people would be like, leave them alone. You don't understand how hard it is to be a famous celebrity. Aww. Now it's like...
Neither do you.
But now it's mainstream to mock these celebrities.
It's true.
Now everyone's jumping in on making fun of them.
Mm-hmm. Like even the celebrities.
Right. They're realizing it's not cool to be the weirdo.
Yep.
Like, you have to make fun of the weirdos.
Wait, this isn't working anymore? Oh, no.
Oh, no. What do I do?
My whole premise is built on this.
Mm-hmm.
Well... I guess we'll have to wait and see. What is it? It's March.
So that's November.
November.
Gosh, it's November. Still March. March 97th.
Yeah, geez,
March 97th.
Seriously.
April's just around the next year.
Yep. Well. Come November, October, November, and December, we'll start to see stuff. We'll see what happens. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.